What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Vince Warburton and this is VW Fitness. Today we're going to talk about the Barebells Functional Foods Protein Bar. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so before we get started with today's video, just a quick heads up on this product. Barebells Functional Foods actually reached out to me via Instagram quite a while ago, and I kind of had to put this one aside because of a lot of things that are going on, obviously, with a lot of us and how coronavirus is affecting us. So this one's kind of been on the back burner. This did arrive a while ago, a few weeks ago. As you guys can see here in the box, I have not tried any of these protein bars here. I'm very excited to try these bars today, and I'm glad I was able to get to this. Now, I will completely be honest and transparent with you that they did send this to me for free. They didn't ask for any specific, review. They basically just said, hey, would you mind reviewing our product? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. Obviously, I would love to work with any company and test out their products and give you guys my honest feedback in terms of the product itself. So it kind of came in this nice packaging. They wrote out a hand, written note to me, which was really nice. It says, hi Vince, enjoy your Barebells for delicious flavors with 20 grams of protein and no added sugar. Feed your cravings, Team Barebell. So yeah, and then we got, all the breakdown in terms of nutrition here, and I think that's great, and I'm glad that they sent that to me because obviously we're going to break that down here today. If you guys are new to the channel, we break down a protein bar into 3 different parts. We're going to talk about number 1, price, 2, the label ingredient breakdown, and then lastly, the taste. Obviously, taste is very important here. People want to taste really good things. These look like really good tasting bars, and I'm pretty excited to give them a try today. All right, so let's get started with price, guys. These are available on Amazon.com for $25.99 for a box of 12. That comes out to about $2.17 a bar. I think that's a fairly good price. I think it's really going to come down to really how it tastes. Obviously, you guys just heard me say that there's 20 grams of protein, there's no added sugar, which I think are great points. We'll get to that in the label ingredient breakdown. But I think in terms of that price point, I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. If it was like about $2 or less, obviously I think I would give it about a 5 out of 5. But I've talked about a lot of different protein bars, and I think they typically all kind of stand in that like $2 to $3 range. And this is obviously on the lower end, so I'm going to give it that 4 out of 5. Now, let's just jump right into the label ingredient breakdown. We have 4 different flavors here, guys. I'm going to quickly kind of try to go through this because obviously it's a lot of content in terms of the label and the ingredients, whatnot. So we said this already, 20 grams of protein. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. Now let's look at the fat and the carbohydrates. 200 calories for all of these bars, so that's consistent. I do like when companies tend to stay consistent with each flavor. I think it makes it a lot easier. The majority of these are between 8 and 9 grams of fat. Now I'm not gonna get into complete specifics here because we'd be here all day, and let's be honest, I think that's a fairly easy range to kind of judge, 7 to 9 grams of fat. Your cholesterol is looking at roughly between 3 and 12 milligrams. So a lot of these are different. Your 3 milligrams is going to be your salty peanut. Your highest one is going to be your cookies and cream at 12 milligrams of cholesterol. Sodium is going to be anywhere from 52 milligrams with your caramel cashew here, and then it's going to go all the way up to 104 with your salty peanut. Obviously, that kind of makes sense. Sodium levels are going to be a little higher with a salty peanut flavor. Carbs are going to be anywhere from 16 to 17 grams. The majority are 16 grams. The only one that has 17 grams of carbs is the cookies and cream. Like I said, no added sugars here, but there is sugar within the bar itself, natural sugar. Okay, you're looking at 1 gram across the board here, no added sugars. And there's some sugar alcohols in all of these between 13 and 14 grams throughout all 4 bars. So if you are someone that doesn't like sugar alcohols, you don't want to deal with that, you think it's bad for your stomach, etc., this is probably not the bar to go to. I think a lot of bars are either utilizing natural cane sugar or they're using, sugar alcohols. Sugar alcohols tend to be extremely sweet for most people. They can taste it pretty quick. I don't personally have a problem with it. I think it can cause some bloating. It can cause some other negative issues for some people. All right, and then one other thing in terms of the carbohydrates, we're looking at between 3 and 4 grams of dietary fiber in each bar. So your net carbs are going to be obviously a little bit less. You minus those those carbs out of there, those fiber carbs out of there. So yeah, overall, you know, carb wise, it's a little bit higher. The fat's a little bit higher here. And then, like I said, 20 grams of protein across the board. So yeah, in terms of this, guys, you know, it is a food, so it's not going to be a supplement. And so it pretty much has to be, you know, accurate in terms of disclosure of, you know, your fats, your carbs, and your protein. So overall, I think the carbs are, you know, it's sugar alcohols, and people are going to have different mixed feelings about that. I personally don't mind it. In terms of the label ingredient breakdown, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's overall a fairly well-balanced protein bar. Don't get me wrong, you guys can at me all day about, you know, the sugar alcohols. You can talk to me about the cholesterol, the fat being too high. Look, at the end of the day, guys, this is not a low calorie bar for meal replacement. This is, I would say, a healthy alternative, or a healthier alternative to going for that bag of chips, or, you know, a candy bar itself. And this is a way to kind of stay on track if you're dieting. So I think it's a really good option in terms of, you know, a protein bar and finding something that tastes really good, which let's get to the taste right now. Like I said, guys, we have 4 different bars: the caramel cashew, salty peanut, white chocolate almond, and cookies and cream. Now, you guys see this plate and this knife here. What we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna open up each one, and then I'm gonna cut a little piece. We're gonna try all 4. Now, typically I would not do this. I did it with the Labrada Nutrition protein, and I thought it went really well. So we're just gonna try all 4, and then we'll just save them and we'll eat them throughout the week. So let's start with the caramel cashew. Okay, definitely see the caramel pieces in here. I think that's great. I definitely think there's gonna be a nice crunch, and I personally do like crunchy. Let's cut off a little piece here. Middle of the bar. Don't know if you guys can see that here, but very firm in terms of like the bar itself is solid. There's not like a lot of air gaps or anything like that, which is interesting. I would have thought there would be, but those cashews are pretty much just on the top layer there. Next up, salty peanut. Okay, again, peanuts on the top here. And we'll cut off a little piece here as well. Yeah, it kind of has this really interesting texture in the middle of the bar. It's pretty solid, which I'm concerned about. We talked about the Quest bar. That was kind of one that I was not a huge fan of because it kind of had that really chewy kind of taste. So I'm hoping that it doesn't have too much of that. All right, next up, white chocolate almond. Not gonna lie, I'm not a huge white chocolate fan, but yeah, we'll give this a try here. Yeah, so this is interesting. The white chocolate's on the outside. Inside is a regular chocolate color brown, and there are some chunks in there. And then last up we have, the cookies and cream. Okay, again, this one's interesting. Opposite of the white chocolate almond, we have the brown on the outside, the chunks on top, and then white on the inside. So obviously the cream. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with right to left here, or left to right from your guys' angle, the caramel cashew. Cheers. Okay, I think it tastes very similar to like a Milky Way in terms of the center, the nougat side, right, of things. The crunch is not really there. I was expecting more from the cashews here, but it really tastes very similar to a Milky Way. I think texture-wise, this is fantastic. I think it tastes really good. I would give the caramel cashew a 5 out of 5. All right, next up, the salty peanut. All right, so initially you really get that really heavy peanut kind of flavor. A little bit more crunch here, I would say, and you taste that saltiness in there. Overall, you know, in terms of the middle, you don't really, it is kind of chewy, very similar to the first one, the caramel cashew here. But overall, I think this tastes really, really good. I mean, I would honestly eat this. It tastes very similar to like a candy bar, except the middle is kind of chewy. It has that kind of chewy kind of texture to it. You can really see it if you guys look right in the middle. It's going to be a little chewy. But I think overall, I do like peanut. I do like crunch. And overall, I think this is a great flavor as well. Solid 5 out of 5. All right, next up is the white chocolate almond. Again, full disclosure, I'm not a big white chocolate fan, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so definitely taste those almonds, which is really nice. Nice little crunch there. You do taste kind of this white chocolate. Again, texture-wise, it's going to be the same, kind of this kind of chewy, creamy kind of texture. Like I said, Milky Way. best way for me to describe it. Overall, I think this is good. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a big white chocolate fan, but I do think it tastes really good, and I do like the almonds on top. All right, and then last up, let's do the cookies and cream. Initially, you get this really nice crunch. This is probably the crunchiest one. It has those kind of like Rice Krispie kind of crunchies on top. I don't know how to explain it. The cream you do taste, okay? It does have that kind of cream-based flavor. I don't know how to explain it. The chocolate's not really heavy, or the cookie per se. I think that comes in the form of like the crunch and you know, the flavoring within that. You do have that chocolate on the outside, but the inside is kind of this creamy. Me personally, I'm gonna give this actually a 3 out of 5. It's not my favorite. So yeah, in terms of the ratings, guys, in terms of the taste, I'm sure you guys can figure out kind of my least favorite one, and that is gonna be the cookies and cream. I'm gonna set these out so you guys can kind of see. Cookies and cream wasn't my favorite. The cream kind of tastes funny to me. I'm not a huge fan of that. Next up is gonna be the white chocolate almond. Again, I'm just not a white chocolate fan. I really like the almonds on top though. And then I'm gonna go to the caramel cashew. Again, it tastes like a Milky Way, but it didn't have the crunch that I thought I would get from that cashew kind of flavoring. And then last up, I'm gonna go with the salty peanut as my number one. This would be my go-to. Definitely gonna take another bite right here. So yeah, kind of interesting, guys. You know, I just literally opened the box, and pretty much the way it was laid out left to right here was kind of the way I rated it, aside from the first two, just swapping those around. And yeah, I would say overall, in terms of all of these bars, kind of the overall picture here, obviously the average would be a 4 out of 5 here. I would recommend you check them out. Like I said, if you can fit it into your macros, that's bottom line. Like if you're looking for a protein bar that's, you know, lean and whatnot, you might need to look at something else here. If you don't like sugar, alcohols, etc., don't go to this bar. But you know, in terms of like an overall, like I said, healthy alternative to a candy bar, I think this is a great option. 20 grams of protein, that's a really good amount there. And yeah, overall, I would recommend you guys check out the Barebells Functional Foods Protein Bar. Again, big shout out to them. Thank you for sending this to me. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe and bell for notifications. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.